Good morning, I'm Paolo del Rosario. Welcome to Weather HQ. Today's top stories. The government is focused on the development and optimal use of renewable energy as an essential strategy to address the challenges of climate change and energy security. I'll speak with Energy Undersecretary Sharon Garin later in the show. A rare winter storm hit the U.S. Gulf Coast. And in Brazil, frozen treats are given to animals in Rio de Janeiro Zoo to help them cope with the intense heat wave. The details on a global weather. Let's take a look at the local weather here today. Three weather systems will continue to affect the country. The northeast monsoon will continue to bring cloudy skies with light rains to the northern and central Luzon areas, particularly in the Cagayan Valley and Aurora. The shear line will continue to bring cloudy skies and scattered rains and isolated thunderstorms over southern Luzon and in the Visayas region, affecting areas such as Bicol, Quezon, Oriental Mindoro, Marinduque, Romblon, Aklan, Capiz, and northern Samar. Over in Mindanao, the easterlies will continue to bring cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms over eastern Samar, Dinagat Islands, Surigao del Norte, Surigao del Sur, Davao, Socsargen, Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. The rest of the country can expect partly cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms, mainly in the afternoon or in the evening. Let's see how the sea conditions are affected by the weather systems. There is no gale warning in effect, so sea conditions are generally safe for mariners. However, moderate to rough seas are expected nationwide, so caution is still recommended. As weather conditions may change intermittently and suddenly, mariners are advised to stay alert and take the necessary precautions for their own safety. Pagasa reported the lowest temperatures across the Philippines yesterday, with several regions experiencing cooler than usual weather, thanks to the impact of the northeast monsoon. Baguio City, long renowned for its cool climate, recorded the country's lowest temperature at 14.8 degrees Celsius. This chillier than usual weather is attributed to the northeast monsoon, which brings a steady flow of cooler air from the north during the colder months, particularly affecting higher altitudes like Baguio. Following closely was Itbayat, Batanes, which recorded a temperature of 19.4 degrees Celsius. Situated at the northernmost tip of the Philippines, Itbayat is also affected by the northeast monsoon, which brings in a gust of cold air from the north, making the region one of the cooler spots in the country. Tanay Rizal registers a temperature of 19.8 degrees Celsius. This town, located in the Sierra Madre mountain range, tends to have a cooler climate due to its elevated position, and the recent weather patterns contributed to even lower temperatures than usual. In Casiguran, Aurora, a surprising 20.2 degrees Celsius was recorded, a temperature drop that is quite unusual for the typically warmer coastal area. The drop in temperature was largely driven by the northeast monsoon still, which reached even the coastal regions, affecting areas that are typically shielded from such cold. Lastly, Tuguegarao City, Cagayan also experienced a cooler than usual day with temperatures dipping to 20 degrees Celsius. This is significant for a city known for its hot climate, further indicating the widespread effects of the northeast monsoon across different parts of the country. So why these reports are important? This data actually helps residents stay informed, plan ahead, and take the necessary precautions to protect their own health, property, and daily routines. Either you're a farmer or living in a coastal or lowland area, it also impacts local authorities and communities to respond effectively to the immediate challenges posed by the weather. Let's take a look at the weather temperatures all over the country as we start off by taking a look at select cities across and provinces across Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao according to the Metra weather system. We go off first to the northernmost part of the country. Let's take a look at Basco, where cloudy skies with rain showers are expected, with temperatures ranging from 21 to 24 degrees Celsius. Now, good news for the Tuguegarao and Baguio residents, as partly cloudy skies will give you pleasant weather. In Baguio, temperatures will range from 16 to 24 degrees Celsius, offering cool weather, while in Tuguegarao, you can expect around 22 to 30 degrees Celsius, slightly warmer than Baguio, as most places are. Now, let's take a look at Lawag, Vigan, and Dagupan, as well as Apari. You can expect sunny weather with mostly clear skies. Lawag will see temperatures between 22 to 31 degrees Celsius. Vigan and Apari will range from around 22 to 29 degrees Celsius, and Dagupan will experience hot conditions with temperatures reaching up to 31 degrees Celsius. Let's go down to Central Luzon, particularly in Casiguran, Tarlac, Angeles, Subic Bay, Mariveles, and Metro Manila. Partly cloudy skies are expected throughout the day throughout the region. Temperatures in these areas could range from around 29 to 33 degrees Celsius, with the warmest conditions likely in the afternoon. While the day will be generally dry, the occasional cloud cover may provide some relief from the sun. Meanwhile, in Gapan and Iba, sunny weather is anticipated with clear skies expected all throughout the day. Temperatures over in Gapan and over in Iba will range from around 23 to 31 degrees Celsius, with Iba being slightly warmer, with 24 degrees being the low there. The sun will be out for most of the day, so it may feel warmer, particularly during the midday. Now, let's go to the south part of Luzon. A pleasant day is expected with comfortable temperatures in southern Luzon, particularly over in Tagaytay and Calamba. Tagaytay will experience some of the coolest temperatures in the region, with around 20 degrees being the low, with 25 being the high. In Calamba, it will be slightly warmer, with temperatures ranging from 24 to 29 degrees Celsius. Now, let's take a look at Legazpi, Puerto Galera, and Romblon, where cloudy skies with occasional sunshine are anticipated. Temperatures in Romblon and Puerto Galera will peak at 27 degrees Celsius, while Legazpi could reach as high as 30 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, in Daet, Verac, Sorsogon, and Coron, the shear line will bring cloudy skies along with rain showers and thunderstorms. Despite the rain, Coron will see a high of 32 degrees Celsius, while the other affected areas may experience temperatures between 28 to 30 degrees Celsius, as you can see here, with Verac having 30 degrees Celsius as a high, while Sorsogon and Daet having 28 degrees Celsius. As we head further south toward the Visayas region, let's take a look at areas like Iloilo, Boracay, Bacolod, Metro Cebu, Tagbilaran, Tacloban, and Catraman, which will all be significantly impacted by the ongoing shear line. Expect mostly cloudy skies with a likelihood of rain showers throughout the day in these locations. Boracay will experience relatively mild temperatures ranging from 26 to 27 degrees Celsius, while Tacloban will see a high of around 28 degrees Celsius, and Catraman, on the other hand, will reach around 30 degrees Celsius. Over in Bacolod and Metro Cebu, Tagbilaran as well, you can see temperatures will remain on the warmer side, peaking at 31 degrees Celsius. These areas will continue to experience a mix of cloudy conditions and occasional rain showers. So although the heat will persist, there will be brief periods of cooling during the rainfall. Now, in Iloilo and Dumaguete, cloudy weather is expected with the occasional breaks of sunshine. Temperatures in these areas will be on the warmer side, with Dumaguete reaching a high of around 30 degrees Celsius, as you can see over here, while Iloilo will have a high of 31 degrees Celsius, so quite warm despite the cloud cover. Moving on to Mindanao. Zamboanga, Dipolog, Marawi, Cagayan de Oro, General Santos, Butuan, and Metro Davao will continue to experience rainy conditions. Marawi will see the cooler temperatures here, 21 to 26 degrees rather, being the range of temperatures here, making for a relatively mild day with cloudy skies and occasional rain showers to keep the temperature comfortable. Cagayan de Oro will have temperatures between 24 to 30 degrees Celsius through the day, and it will be warm. The rain may provide some brief relief from the heat though. General Santos will be on the warmer side as well, with General Santos having 31 degrees Celsius as the high. Butuan, on the other hand, will be a bit warmer than that, 23 to 32 degrees Celsius over here. Zamboanga, Dipolog, and Metro Davao will have hotter conditions here, with temperatures rising to around 33 degrees Celsius, as you can see here in Dipolog and Zamboanga, which are typically some of the warmer parts of the country. When we return, I'll speak with Energy Undersecretary Sharon Garin about the status of renewable energy development and adoption here in the country. Stay tuned. You're watching Weather HQ.
Good morning, I'm Mikey Orata.
Ferdy Salvador.
Welcome to Industry Beacon,
where we shine a light on the trailblazers,
the disruptors, and the industry leaders shaping our future.
And in each episode, we explore how they're staying ahead in their fields,
one industry at a time.
It's a good opportunity to come from Australia here to the Philippines.
AC Health has launched groundbreaking initiatives to improve access to care.
I'm so thrilled we opened the country's first cancer-only hospital.
Industry Beacon on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Every morning,
It's getting better.
let's start your day right with fun and laughter. Join Paolo del Rosario
Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
and Asis Carillo.
We are bringing happiness and cheer along with inspiration, good vibes, and great energy.
And Monique Tuzon.
Your mornings are mo fun with us. Only here on
It's a beautiful day.
Welcome back. You're still watching Weather HQ. I'm Paolo del Rosario. The Department of Energy says the development and optimal use of renewable energy is an essential strategy to address the challenges of climate change and energy security. Joining us via Zoom is Energy Undersecretary Sharon Garin. Magandang umaga po. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning.
Undersecretary, first off, let's take a look at the current state of the energy mix dito sa bansa po natin. What is the current mix, which is obviously the percentage between renewable energy adoption and the use of traditional fossil fuels?
Well, our energy mix now is mostly it's mostly fossil pa rin. I'll just get the percentages But for example, right now, coal is 43.9%, oil is 13.2%, natural gas is 13.2%. So that leaves us with 29.7% on renewable energy. It's still low, but it's better than before. So that naturally means that basically means that we are very dependent on fossil-based fuel, as well as we are dependent on imported fuel.
What are the government's priority projects to harness renewable energy? Obviously, there is a bit of a push to try and increase our actual renewable energy sources and, of course, yung productivity natin coming from those.
Right. The first action that our secretary did when he first sat as secretary of the Department of Energy was to liberalize renewable energy, which means that on renewable energy, a foreigner can invest 100% in such projects, except for probably hydro. If it's hydropower, then you cannot, because that's appropriating our waters. But if it's sun and wind, then you can actually own 100% as a foreigner on this investment. And that was followed also by the marching orders of the president that we have to have 35% by 2030 na ang energy mix natin would be renewable energy. And that will escalate to 40% and 50% over the next decade. Now, because of those two actions, now we have thousands of renewable energy service contracts, which means that so many investors came in already. Now it's a matter of implementation, but they actively applied for a service contract, and they have committed and they have work plans already. So these things will follow through over the next few years. In terms of policy, we have several interventions already. I think one of the most significant are the auctions that we do. We have had an auction last year, and now we are having another auction for yung hydro. And then this year, I think we'll have 3 hydro, and then we'll have the renewable again, and then on the last later this year we will have on offshore wind. So it's like we're auctioning a certain number of megawatts, and we ask the developer how much are you willing at this certain period to deliver this number of megawatts, and this has been a big push for the industry.
Undersecretary, you mentioned that goal of 35% by 2030. And when you look at the current level of investment that has poured in with regard to the renewable energy, both of creation and adoption, and of course, yung implementation po niya, how in the path are we to actually achieving yung goal po yun?
We are if we're talking about numbers of megawatts that are coming in, or like the number of investments coming in to build these power plants, we have sufficient investments coming in. But on the other side of that graph kasi is what's happening with fossil-based investments, no, in the power plants. We have a moratorium on new coal power plants, but there are still new that is being implemented pa lang now. So, and then there's also diesel, which is catering to most, also in the grid, but most of the are off grid or diesel pa rin because they're not connected to our grid. And there's also nat gas, which is not as dirty as coal, but it's still fossil, no? So medyo as to number of megawatts coming in, I do believe that we have enough potential of reaching the 35%. But if it's a matter of percentage, then we still have to put more policies on the fossil-based power plants.
From a business perspective, I know we're talking about the investments coming in po. How cost efficient are these renewable energy projects? And of course, is there any idea of the type of return of investment potential investors do have when they do invest in projects like these?
Now, if you want to transition to cleaner energy, you have to pay for it. It's not the cheapest energy. It's the cleanest, but it does not necessarily mean that it's the cheapest. Coal is the cheapest probably as of today, you know. But it's the dirtiest also. So there's a balance there that you have to find. Renewable energy is not that expensive, pero it depends on the technology. Like hydro, it's probably the cheapest. Solar is getting cheaper by the day because of the technology, cheaper technology coming in, and cheaper but better. But wind, for example, is still very expensive. So we have to balance that. And in addition to that, we have to recalibrate the whole system because our system started with coal and diesel, and that's and you have to recalibrate your transmission, your distribution, even your markets, because the nature, the characteristics of renewable is so different from fossil-based. Fossil-based kasi it can be a steady supply of it can generate power on a steady level, no? Parang base load yan but renewable, it depends on the weather. So if there's sun, you have solar. If you don't have wind, then there's no wind, there's no sun. If it's at night, there's no solar that will come in. So it depends on the resources that's coming in. So it's intermittent, let's say, and you cannot have that as base load. So there's a balance that you have to find in order for us to be green, but it's not necessarily cheaper. Kasi also, in addition to that, we have to also add more infrastructure for our grid, because these are located, for example, if it's offshore wind, it's done in, di ba? Not on land. So we have to extend our grid. We have to recalibrate it so that it can adjust to the intermittency of renewable energy. But that's what's the policies come in. DOE has to find the perfect mix and the perfect balance on renewable energies against fossil-based.
You mentioned the recalibration and even the expansion of the current power grid. Are those the biggest stumbling blocks in terms of expediting the utilization of green technology?
It's one of the many. Probably, for example, grid is one major issue that we have. It's being even in fact being discussed in Congress now. But also we have to go through it again. Actually, the Department of Energy has a transition plan, and one of those we have discussed already, that we have to push for renewable energy. Second would be we are creating a concept which is the smart and green grid, which will probably run in parallel with what we have already as planned under the transmission development plan. So ito will cater to, for example, we have so many service contracts in
Yes.
top of Luzon for offshore wind. We have so many service contracts in Mindoro, south and north of Mindoro, and we have in Guimaras also. So those are areas that we have to recalculate everything kasi kailangan ng reinforcement ng grid eh.
Yes po.
Those are things that we have to consider. So those are expensive also.
Yes, actually, that brings me to my next point, Undersecretary. Final question, because we're running out of time. There actually are a few clean energy scenarios that the DOE have presented that still require a bit more investment. Is that going to be the key to actually reach the goals that you want for 2030? Even more additional investment with regard to lahat mga plano po ninyo?
The investments will come in. But the clean energy scenario is not only as a guide for DOE, but also a guide for the investors in which technology they can invest, because there's potential there and it's projected by DOE to be what will be needed in the future. So we have several scenarios, and in these scenarios we have included offshore wind as a one major component, and also nat gas and nuclear. So we're finding a mix that's cleaner, not the cheapest, but I think we will adjust the scenarios as we go, because you have to understand technology changes over time. It's not like in every faster than our plans actually. So the price of offshore wind now is very high, but knowing that the other countries are developing better technology, so maybe in 5 years' time it will be cheaper, and we have to recalculate again.
Energy Undersecretary Sharon Harin just gave us a lot of insight with regard to the energy plans of the country, especially with regard to renewable energy. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Now, the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology recorded a magnitude 5.8 quake in southern Leyte at 7:39 a.m. today. It's a tectonic in origin with a depth of 14 kilometers. Intensity 4 to 6 were felt in parts of southern Leyte and Leyte, while other provinces in Visayas and Mindanao also registered intensity 1 to 3. Some aftershocks were recorded past 8 this morning, but no damage is expected or has been reported. Global weather is up next. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Welcome back. You're still watching Weather HQ. Let's take a look at the global weather. A rare winter storm hit the U.S. Gulf Coast on Tuesday, bringing heavy snow, ice, and gusty winds to a region where flurries are uncommon. A camera in Pensacola Beach in Florida captured a blizzard blanketing the pier, palm trees, and streets. The storm was expected to move through Mississippi, Georgia, and Florida. New Orleans received 9.8 inches of snow by late afternoon, according to the NWS. Video showed neighborhoods and streets covered in snow. The NWS was verifying if this snowfall broke the 1895 record of 8 inches. Footage from Panama City showed snow falling on a beach with locals watching. Governor Ron DeSantis declared a state of emergency and some schools and businesses closed. Florida may have broken its all-time snowfall record with 9 inches reported in Milton near Pensacola, according to NWS meteorologist Frank Pereira. Temperatures of these areas dropped to single digits, prompting warnings about frostbite and burst pipes. Snow, ice, and 40 mph winds could disrupt travel and threaten power lines and trees for several days. Over in Brazil, as temperatures soared above 40 degrees Celsius on Wednesday, animals at Rio de Janeiro's Biopark Zoo were given frozen treats to help them cope with the intense heat wave. To provide relief and comfort, ice pops were served to a variety of animals, including bears, jaguars, and monkeys, promoting their well-being in sweltering conditions. Biologist Leticia Faitosa emphasized the significance of these cooling measures, noting that many of the zoo's residents are not naturally adapted to such high temperatures. The frozen treats offered the animals a much-needed break from the heat. At the same time, zoo visitors took steps to protect themselves from extreme weather. Many chose to visit early in the day, equipped with plenty of water and sunscreen to stay safe and comfortable during the hottest part of the day. And that's Weather HQ for today. Join me again tomorrow, whatever the weather, only here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.